Welcome to Cynical Cinephiles. I'm Nick Topper, I'm 25.
I'm Sherry Bubble and I'm 23 years old. We met at film school where we studied creative arts in film and television. Then we set up a production company called Bubble Productions, and with that knowledge, we're going to review some films.
Throughout the review, we'll be pinpointing moments in the film where we'll either rate them with a pro or a con, and at the end we'll kind of wrap it up with a grade. The grading meter down the bottom here is what we'll use to keep track of the pros and cons score throughout the review, and yeah, it'll make sense. So for now, let's get cynical! Pro for the fact that that is a very just straightforward, intro. It's one of the good old classic Walt Disney intros, as opposed to the self-indulging, slightly longer, newer ones, maybe.
Some of them go for a minute, so that one's not bad at all.
Not bad. Never mind. I just love the use of the color blue. I don't know what... I think I like oversaturation, and they did it well.
It's very satisfying.
Con for you can never get that perfect.
It doesn't work that perfectly. I feel like this is the Thriller music video or something. That's all I can think of.
Someone gave Goofy or Max the Hulk's clothes because he just grew 10 foot.
Yeah!
They're still fitting. So I'd like to raise the age-old question, what's with the glove hands?
It's very creepy. But Disney does it. Doesn't Mickey have them as well?
Mickey has the glove hands.
Again, Michael Jackson. Conspiracy theory.
Hold on.
Con for absolutely no alarm clock working like that ever that I'm aware of.
Why would that sell? You have to update, you have to refresh it.
You have to whack it so it catches up.
It's now or never.
I want to point out that later in the movie we see Mickey Mouse on the side of the road with Daffy Duck, who Max also says is Goofy's best friend, potentially. Which means that Goofy knows Mickey through his best friend Daffy, right? How many kids do you know that have their dad's friend as their as their telephone in their room? It's
the modern equivalent would be having a mutual friend as your phone background.
I mean, that's
this is
that's soft.
This is hardcore.
I think the modern equivalent would be having your Uncle Joe, who you're not related to, being made into a statue that maybe is your phone charger or something that you keep by your bed 24/7.
It's so strange. It's like they made this in linear order and then just never watched it back to put it together. It makes no sense.
Bit of a con. Also a con for he just tripped up pretty hardcore then with the phone, and somehow it stayed planted on the desk.
It's just nailed down.
That phone's nailed down for sure.
Why does he own those pants? They clearly do not fit him at all. Unless, does he wear a belt usually?
I'm not going to give that a con because how many kids wear pants that should fit them, but they don't.
What does he wear usually?
Do you know whose clothing I am going to con? Is Goofy, because he's wearing a towel on his head right now, and he's just got ears, right?
Well, he's covered in fur.
Yeah, so what's the point of having a little fur coverage when you should have the entire body coverage?
I forgot. Morning, son.
Pro, because parents are like that.
He's a very good character.
I could drive in on my way to work. No thanks.
So he's just gonna suck everything up, including the banana peels, and then later he's just gonna have to sort them out, wash the clothes further.
Yeah, no, so yeah, he must just open up that vacuum cleaner. Big con, yeah.
You ruined it. Sorry about that. Who was he anyway?
It's only Powerline, Dad, the biggest rock star on the planet.
Okay, here's a big con. Can you name a single parent who isn't aware of someone who your kid has, 15 odd posters and memorabilia of in their bedroom. Like, who Taylor Swift is, and your kid doesn't even have a poster of them, presuming you have kids. Doesn't even, like, why would you not know who Powerline is? How poor of a father could you be?
It's almost like the obsession started overnight, and he ordered everything online, put it right up before his dad came in. Because the way he reacts is like he's never seen
this
it.
1995 film had
Order
online
stuff
orders.
online.
How young are we?
Not bigger than Xavier Cugat, the Mambo King. Everybody Mambo.
I'm going to give a pro to the fact that that guy actually exists. And when I first watched that movie, when I 20th time watched this movie,
I was going to say.
he totally existed after Googling him. And he is a Mumbo King.
Good reference. Con for the fact that they slip up a lot with the animal world. Like, he's got rabbits on his slippers, and they do this throughout the movie. There's no rules with what's an animal, what's real life, because these don't all look like they're dogs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I really had to ask. That's not a dog. But like,
no, you're right.
There's no rules. There's no rules.
It's a big con because later on, and we'll make this a big con in general, because later on, like, a fish will suck his feet. Possums seem to be real.
Do they eat meat? That's interesting. We'll have to look out for that.
Yeah, they do, because there's later on they're having a steak,
Like a
which means these are dogs eating, presumably, cows. And
dogs do that in real life, though. Technically, but then these are human dogs. I don't get it.
But then, do they also have some sort of cattle breeding system where they have millions and billions of cattle that they kill and eat and?
No more goof of the week like before.
Con for him not breaking his neck just then.
It's very unrealistic.
I'm going to slap a big pro on for just the music numbers and the fact that it's really enjoyable, and having watched it time and time again, it's always fun singing along to. And
Well, I just sang along and I've only watched this once, so I'm kind of surprised. It's just familiar.
So con for her just opening her wallet and just leaving it, I guess. Just doesn't care. Ew, a gross guy. I'm just going to leave my wallet here.
She'll come back for it later, it's fine.
That's one big con for this, is I get that in the dog world they're all different shapes and sizes, but in this they are so different shapes and sizes. It begs the question how a society manages to make enough equipment or facilities for the entire population of 1 foot tall dogs and 6 foot tall dogs, and
because they're all meant to be kids and teenagers.
yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. You can't adjust by age or anything.
If I don't think I'll be fine.
Oh my god, a young man.
They just heard the word faint and they're on cue. I think they know they're a part of this musical number, it seems. What are the chances that a pair of twins would end up dating another pair of twins?
Pro, see people.
She looked right through me.
She didn't look through him. She didn't look at him. Con.
He's also just a bit of a creep right now. Like, honestly, from a girl's perspective, I'm like,
I need a new me plus some.
Guess those girls just went in to go ogle at the latest Powerline cutout.
see, man, is he hot?
I mean, yeah, animated Tevin Campbell.
Well, they make the girls attractive, and then I can't tell with him if it's just like the X factor or what, because he doesn't look like a classically handsome character. I mean,
honestly, he seems like a Michael Jackson type, doesn't he?
Again, so many links.
Another con for the animators trying to save money on just using the exact same animation all the way down the bus. Nice
Copy and paste, flip, change hair color, done.
So there's the goth there, but the other goth wasn't there, so this is just a con, this. And now there's random people on the bus who weren't on the bus. There's not enough cheerleaders to represent the cheerleaders that were on the bus. Yeah, just con.
I hate it.
I'm gonna sit on my butt.
Pro. I just always like that line. Always
It's
liked
a
it.
good one. I like that he looks like an American bulldog as well, like it suits his character.
Con. If your toupee falls off that easily, you probably need a new toupee. Con. Are these people already at class?
The timeline of this makes no sense.
If class starts at 9, even if they had training in the morning, there's no way they would still be here. They would have had training. They'll be going back to class now.
He's somehow distracting everyone at the same time, but then he seems to be like a nice kid outside of this, but then he's just in this musical number again. He's just a completely different character. You graduated first thing in the morning, right?
Those people graduated, but like, I don't know.
I don't know, it's just weird. It's just really weird. They're just trying to show every aspect of high school in a minute. They could have spread it out.
Con. I know it looks good for him to run up to the top of the bleachers and do his whole hair and the wind thing, but he's running late to class.
None of this is logical.
Con. He's alright.
She finally says hi to me, and what do?
Con. No one would just leave their shoes dangling like that on their locker. Unless they're really bad shoes.
Are you sure we gotta do this?
Con. These lockers in the corner here, they never made lockers like this. And it's for a reason. It's so that when you're trying to get to your locker, there's not a guy literally next to you trying to get to their locker. Because of the open... I mean, if that's happened to you, let us know, but that doesn't seem right to me.
Nobody. But after today.
Pro. I just like how realistic his attempt at, his romanticizing of teenage love is, because it's pretty realistic.
He's done well.
Look, all this is for us?
Did he just turn on the lights and then go sip some water? Like, just a con there.
I don't get what to say.
Slurpage.
Pro, I love that guy. It's so fun.
So on top of that pro, I'm going to give it another pro because I love Pauly Shore in general. And I know people are going to be like, that should have been a 3-point con, but no, I'm going to give it a 2-point pro because I'm that big of a fan of Pauly Shore. Just a pro. Anyone who accepts cheese as their form of payment is just a random guy.
So gross.
Just a bit of cheese whiz, why not?
It's pretty scrumptious.
Pro. It's pretty scrumptious.
Let's do it, ladies.
Con, for referring to your guy friends as ladies in a derogatory manner.
All of us for a really neat year.
Yo, Stacy! Talk to me.
Con, why'd they get Geekosaurus to be the flirtatious woof whistle guy?
Yeah.
Couldn't they have got like a flirtatious woof whistle guy, or was it easier to just animate one of the several characters we've already animated?
Like, good on them for going against the stereotype of like the sexual harassing guy being the jock.
But I hope you can all attend my totally amazing end of school party next Saturday to watch the Caroline concert live on pay-per-view.
Con, how freaking big is her house? She's willing to invite all of these people.
Yeah, what looks like 300 kids just got invited to a house party.
They all seem pretty keen.
But,
And
like, no offense to her, she doesn't seem like the cool kind of class
well,
president.
they've drawn her to be lame, so
But
like cliche lame.
She kind of ends up being this kind of cool person who is, it's, not an issue.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And now, without further ado, Principal Mazer.
Pro for how good that sound transition goes.
I have several youngsters approach me and say, Principal Mason.
Pro for his physical actions. The way they've drawn him here is just really fun. The way his head goes in and he's just like, thank you, Stacey.
Smile is massive.
It's just fun. It's fun how fake, energetic, and principal-like he's meant to be. And it works.
Say, Roxanne, about Stacy's party.
Oh no, I wonder what he's saying all the way over there.
How you doing down there, Bobby? Don't give me that attitude, you guys. I'm doing it all for you.
Pro. Bobby.
Every audio guy.
Did they just inflict bodily damage to this principal guy. Like, that doesn't seem okay. I don't know who edited this, but yeah.
Is it their like the official music video, or did they make this edit?
They made this edit. That's not Tevin Campbell's, power line. That's Max's power line.
Why is he not cooler?
Another Michael Jackson reference. Pro.
Yeah. No comment.
Pro the dance move. Con. Main protagonist girl way too into him. It's like, I wonder if they're gonna end up together. Yeah, they're gonna end up together. A pro here, because later in the movies he'll come into a lot of like height-based scenarios, things like flying through the air with a parachute, and I just think it's really relevant here to show how comfortable he is.
Yeah, definitely. Pro, very dedicated photographer. Feels willing to just push on after that happens. Whoa.
Max, look. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Last time I promise, but pro, just for him again.
My dad is gonna smash me like a bug.
Hey, PJ, detention!
I lied. One more point. But if it was her break,
Should be loving that teenager.
Watch out, parents and lawyers.
What am I gonna do?
Blue light special on aisle 3. Blue light special on aisle 3.
Con, did someone just turn those lights on, or?
Parent. Con? Kid nudity?
Pro for how fast everyone's at it.
That seemed like it was just sped up.
Hey Max, wicked dance.
Thanks.
Con. So that chick who was totally repulsed by him at the start of the day is now like super into him and willing to,
Con, how would he survive that? He's very strong. I guess that's it's not realistic though.
I mean, this guy looks like he's 100 kilos and he just literally jumped onto his shoulders. You're on the ground with your face in it. Con. At this point, Bobby's seen on the school bus, but just a second ago he was also seen hanging from a statue.
Yeah.
Just bad continuity, but... So is this diegetic or non-diegetic music right now?
I think he just said a piece of cake out loud and there's no music.
Con for the Ferris Bueller running in the backyard of everyone's house. It's like, you can't just trespass because you're feeling good. Con, I know he just saved a baby, but he's in someone's house right now.
Got a present for you.
When you just undressed your son in public. Con, when you pull the string of one of those things, can you ever put it back?
I'm pretty sure it's a one-use thing.
And even if you can, why'd you do it now? What?
We're using the same map me and my dad used. We'll take the same route and make the same stops and see the same sights.
Con, that is not a practical map at all. Like, I really thought it was going to at least have his town in it, just be zoomed in a little bit more. Imagine using something that zoomed out.
I mean,
when you've road trip. Another con, there is no way that map would still be consistent over this many years. The towns would have changed, there'll be freeways, there'll be new forests.
If you're making your decisions on which way to go and how to get there, you are either going a longer way, or your road may or may not even exist.
They're taking a real risk. It will add to the adventure, but it kind of explains why the trip was such a mess.
It's not gonna happen, I'm telling you.
Careful, son. You'll wrinkle my past.
Pro. I just love the way Careful, son. You'll wrinkle my past.
It's a good line.
Look at me now.
Why do I get the feeling they cut it just before his pants fell down?
And we're ready for takeoff. Set for adventure, Maxie.
Con, I guess the fishing rod just disappeared in that time.
It was very important though, apparently.
Goodbye, pile of broken wood.
Pro, that's just too good to not include as a pro. It's just a fun scene, but it
Good
is.
line.
Daddy?
Pro, because teenage girls totally have that much power over their dads, regardless of how intimidating and angry and big they are.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's not his house, it's her house.
Dad
Really,
surprised
it's
me.
okay,
I don't
these
even
things
want to
happen.
go, but I have no
I'm
choice.
sure I can find someone else.
Con, what a bitch. I'm sure I can find someone else.
Yeah,
Ow!
she seemed hurt and then she just got rude at the end. It
Yeah,
was a
it's
bit.
like, don't have this passive aggressive, I'll just find someone else, whatever.
You don't need to go with someone to a party also. Like, just go to the party.
It's your best friend's party, you were going already.
Yeah, it's true. Go with her.
Minute! You party animal, you.
I
Bro.
mean,
That face.
that face, and just the fact that that's just how all dads would react. If you called them a crazy party animal, they'd just be like, guilty as charged.
So cute.
I guess.
Because I was hoping I could wave to you on stage when we join Powerline for the final number.
Okay. Con. There's lying, then there's this. It's like, that would be... Wow, this is the first time you've mentioned it to anyone? I mean, after the stunt that he performed at the school, though, you might actually believe it.
He had a valid excuse though. He really could have just explained it better. But you know, then there wouldn't be a plot for this movie.
Yeah,
so.
Well, here we are, out on the open road, retracing the steps of my boyhood. And here's Maxie.
Con. He's recording...
He's filming while driving.
He's looking into the camera while staring off to the right. While
Like he's
driving
actually
straight.
aiming as well. Like, so illegal.
Just a con for the amount of time, just indefinitely while in the car, that he isn't looking at the road.
To play with my dad. Road bingo. 20. Hey, Maxie.
Proof of how excited he gets when he sees 20 questions is on the thing. Like he
very
can't
cute.
remember the 3 or 4 like basic travel games that you can play in a car.
That's a toughie. Oh, let's see. Walt Disney.
Right.
2 cons here. One is for the fact that after 1 question in 20Q, he just went for it. He's like, man,
Oh, that was a killer.
I know who this is. I know who this man is. It's Walt. It's 100%. 2, I don't know if you know what this one's going to be.
Oh, the fact that's Walt Disney.
Walt Disney's a real human being.
Oh.
So if you can guess a real human being, I get the meta reference they're trying to make.
Yeah.
What does that mean? A human's real, or what is the go?
Doesn't make any sense.
Me and my dad used to sing this one all the time.
Con. It's about at this point where I start feeling really, really sad for Goofy, trying to relive his childhood memories with his father.
It's
who-
heartbreaking.
Is he dead? I think
Yeah.
he might be dead.
It seems like it from
And
this.
so now that he doesn't have a wife or a father, it's kind of sad that his only connection doesn't really want to engage with him in the way
So-
he wants to.
He's so desperately trying.
Have any music.
Oh, Maxie.
Con. Not one of them have their seatbelt on at the moment.
Are there seatbelts in the car?
Well, you can see the strap.
Oh yeah.
It's not over their shoulders.
So they drew the strap. They really went out of the way to do that. Con, another shameless plug.
the
Did you
Disney
see
on
the
the car
Disney
keys.
logo? Oh, it makes me cringe. It takes me out of it. I'm not a fan. Con, there's just a sign that says open road. Come on, I know he said it, but like seriously.
car with all that stuff on top just fit underneath an oil tanker.
Impressive.
Just a pro for this song.
It's
Just,
so
it's a nice
good.
song.
It's so good.
Con, Goofy just drove past his best friend who was hitchhiking. They didn't pick up his best friend and his pal who were hitchhiking on the open road.
These guys are so in their own world the entire time.
And I'd go with them if I could. I got no strings on me.
There's a lot to say here.
I mean, one, and probably the biggest con here is that cops don't ride in threes, they ride in twos.
Good point.
And you know, zombies aren't real.
Pro. It looks so visually pretty. Like they're really good at like transitioning with like weather, sunset, sunrise.
Yeah,
Just
whoever
appreciate it.
animated the skyscapes, they did the best job
so
out
pretty.
of probably every part of this movie.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Why don't you just give me the map?
Oh, no thanks, son. Navigating's a big responsibility.
Con, so is driving.
Gosh, it's even better than I remembered.
Pro. This one's for Goofy and his voice. The voice actor of Goofy, I think it's Jeff or Bill Farmers maybe. Either way, he just nails it. And he spoke about how they did like 2.5 years of voiceover work for it. It wasn't consistent. It was like 60 days across 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But that's more than a typical voiceover job.
Yeah.
And initially they were trying to do it with a not so Goofy voice, trying to get away from the Goof Troop version of Goofy. But instead ended up going for the classic Goofy that everyone
Full
loves.
blown one, yeah.
And it works. The way he says "gosh" and yuck, it just I
It
enjoy
does
it.
work. You adapt to it pretty quick.
Yeah, it's good.
Who's your favorite possum?
Con. So all of these people in the crowd seem to predict, and they already know what's going to happen in the play.
Yeah, they've
How long
been
have they been here
before.
for, and is it the same show every single night?
Here's Buford, Beulah, and Mordecai.
Hey, Lester, ready for yodeling?
Sure am, Buford.
I'm gonna give it a pro because he introduces the last guy as Mordecai, and then later refers to that same thing as Buford, which was one of the first guys he introduced. So it's just like
Realism.
they're not communicating to each other appropriately, and it's
That's
just,
a nice touch. Pro, this is nightmare fuel. Like you can almost feel like the stress that he's having from it. Like it's hard to watch.
I love that you give that a pro.
It's done well.
Like, Con. Did they just finish their semester of school?
Yeah, I know, the same run
It's the
from
exact
every
same
building.
pace.
My life's a living hell.
Pro, I always love it when they do that sneaky way of sliding in swear words or...
Oh, you jumped the gun on the pro. I might have conned it, but you pro'd it.
I
so
like
we'll pro
it. I think it's
Okay.
fun for the adults watching. I like it.
Pro. It's a good example of how embarrassed kids tend to feel. Con. Do you really think a place that it's meant to be like pro possum would have the eyes cut out of the hats to make it look like you're wearing a dead possum, and two, the entrance is just it's so
spooky.
nightmarish. It's insanely. Look at those teeth.
Yeah, I didn't get what they
And
were
the
going
eyes,
for.
that's an evil possum.
Yeah.
That's not a possum park, that's a haunted house.
Yeah, totally.
What the heck you trying to do?
Trying to get away from you.
Me? What'd I do?
Forget it.
I thought we was having fun. What's the matter?
Nothing. Let's just go. Well, come on.
Con, you can't blame Max here. Like, what did Goof expect? That he was just gonna love this kid's possum park crap? if he was in the middle of that caravan and now all of a sudden he's right at the very edge of it?
Well, that thing needed to hit his head when he came down, so they had to set that up.
Con, if you're expecting them to animate another character, you better believe you're wrong. Of course, it's his best friend, who we've already met in the first 10 minutes. Pro, I love that he started singing the wrong lyrics. It's just, they aren't the lyrics, but he started singing just nonsense.
There's only one person who doesn't know about it yet, Pete.
Con, you mean to tell me that PJ isn't at all suspicious that his best friend's dad might not actually have been in a band with Powerline?
He would have known that. It doesn't make any sense.
That would have definitely been something that came up during conversations about their favourite musician.
Pro, how bowling actually feels.
Big Con. That is not a strike. That's cheating. That's straight up cheating. Con, this beast that bit through a log can't bite through a steak. That's one chewy steak.
He's on it right now.
Could you back up a bit, Mr. Foot? You're out of focus.
Pro. Con, no way they landed on his head. No way. No. Pro. That guy's smile.
Nice to know this thing's good for something.
Con, it may be good for something, but it's definitely not going to cook your alphabet soup. No.
Don't even bother at that point.
No way. You'll open it up and there'll be this weird warm patch in the bottom middle and nowhere else. It's going to be a cold can of soup.
He's so hopeful.
Or I love you.
Pro, it's just so realistically cute, like the son and father relationship.
Your granddad taught me that when we went to Yosemite.
You two did a lot together, huh?
Yup.
Con. Is this the part where I find out exactly how this all happened and whether or not his dad's dead, or they just don't speak, or because he seems to have great fondness towards him, so it, I think they're implying that his dad's dead, and you know, with a Disney movie, surely that's the case.
Yeah. Pro. I don't even have to say anything.
The feels.
Pro, that snoring sound. Like, every unusual sound that comes out of their mouths is always just great, instantly.
Folly Pro.
Yeah, I like it.
Pro. Max's eyes.
Bloodshot.
Con. The fact that he's able to draw a line on a map that's on his lap, and not only that, but push so hard that the pencil breaks, but the paper on the map doesn't. This is a 30-year-old map. Con, let's just say that your truck 781 here in this maze of trucks, how are you getting out of this maze of other trucks that have scattered themselves literally everywhere?
It's so impractical. Pro, I loved that shot. It actually looked like it was going to be through a glass, but then it ended up being a reflection. And plus, it's so hard to do stuff like that with a camera. You might as well do it when it's animation.
Eggs. Eggs.
Yeah, right here. Sorry.
Here you go, cutie.
Pro, I love the way she just like kindly called him a cutie and stuff, even though he was just totally neglecting her.
Totally.
Con, he just ate that top pancake and all the topping, right? And then there was more topping underneath, as if it's a topping city of pancakes.
The continuity of that was weird, because he started cracking the egg, then it switched to the dad for like a millisecond, then switched back, and the bacon was gone, the piece of greenery, and it was just the orange part of the yolk.
Yeah, no, I think it happens a bit too because
It's
we've got
weird.
now we've got the pancakes and they don't have the topping anymore, and
They didn't really have to change it
map
though.
and keys are no longer right by Max. They're now over by Goofy.
But this is all within like a 30 seconds. You don't need to change the food. Imagine if the props department did that.
Con, those nuns are in the background again.
Monster trucks? I don't care. Makes zero sense.
That's creepy.
Pro. I'm enjoying this montage. I'm not minding
Yeah,
it.
it's working to the story, you're right. And then I'm going to take a con off here because these seats are all completely empty, but when we zoom out it seems like it's almost a packed house.
Nah, I hate that.
They just really can't be bothered animating extras, can they? Con. I guess that inn just appeared out of nowhere.
The transition's pretty funny in general.
If you're gonna transition like that, change the road. Change a few more things.
I feel like they did that to be lazy and then they just went with it because it ended up looking kind of funny.
Is there navigator?
This is the police. We've got the place surrounded, see? You goofs come out with your hands up.
Con. They would have probably actually been expecting the police given what they've done on this trip so far.
Would have been in the back of their mind.
Full on.
Don't let him fool you with that buddy act now. Under your thumb.
Con. It's a good thing Max is deaf.
How about let me hook up the RV?
Well,
Oh, it's just a little tiny extension cord. You hardly even notice it.
okay.
Con. It's not really his call. It's probably the motel owner's call.
Okay, sir. All right. I can't believe you, man.
Pro. The way that pizza looks.
Oh, totally.
Both so fake and so good looking.
Changing the map?
I didn't know what he was doing.
Con. There's no way a bunch of teenagers don't notice when their parent half opens a door when they're talking about stuff they don't want their parents to know about. This movie was clearly not written by teenagers. Pro for the colours here. Like just the way they've kind of done the lighting for this.
Yeah, the blue
This scene.
nighttime.
Con. Is Pete paying to stay here? Do they let anyone just use the spa?
They wouldn't. Plus, they have a pool. It makes
You're
no
right,
sense.
they've got a pool in their
It's
RV.
very
It's-
spoiled.
He loves me.
Hey, my son respects me.
Con. That's so something a bad parent who was way too authoritative might say.
It's kind of a pro though, in a way though. Like it shows realistic representations of parents. Like hopefully, as a child, when you view this, you recognize that he's bad.
True.
But I'm not sure how clear that is. Like it's very obvious as an adult, but.
Pro. Just the way that lighting. Just, whoever's doing the lighting for these couple minutes,
It's
they
done
did a
so
good
well.
job, yeah.
There's a lot of effort with lighting when it's
Yeah.
not something that comes naturally.
No, very good job to the colorists. Con. They need to get that glove box fixed.
Yep.
Pro. That was a good transition.
I was thinking that.
Left or right? Come on, Max.
Con. There's cutting it close and then there's hitting the barrier because you nearly killed everyone in the vehicle.
What's new?
How about a song, Dad?
Con. I don't know how stupid Max thinks his dad is, but surely he knows he's not meant to be heading to California if
He
they're
saw
on
the
their way
signs.
to Idaho.
Yeah.
How was this ever meant to pan out where he
What
was
were they
like,
going to do when they got there anyway? I guess, sorry Dad,
"Oh,
going to the
whoops,
Powerline
I must
concert.
have gone the wrong way. Let's go to Powerline."
I don't even have tickets to Powerline, but you know, let's go.
What do you do now, Max?
I didn't do anything, Dad. I only touched it.
Con. At no point is this Max's fault. This is purely the driver's fault.
I've grown up.
Con. Time and place.
I know, it's just thinking, just survive this. I'm surprised they're even managing to stay on the car while they're arguing.
Pro. I'm just gonna give it a pro for this song. Like, I think every song in this entire movie deserves a pro, and I'll probably be giving it one.
Con, how they look like they're in so much danger.
I assume they were just expecting to die then.
Yeah.
It's like, well, here goes the whirlpool. Down we go.
Then back up.
Now is to get you up on stage with this power line filler.
How are we gonna do that?
Now you just leave that up to me.
No.
Con, I love his, like, naivete, but you just...
Not that easy.
Imagine telling your kid you'll get them up backstage at, like, Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake or one of the other popular Justins. Con, where'd that fishing pole come from? I'm pretty sure they lost all those bags when they were going down the hill.
Yeah.
Pro for the composing. A lot of it seems to actually hit the right nerve, so good job for composers. Con, how much does a car weigh? I don't know, but I'm gonna say too much for Goofy to hold onto with one hand and a fishing rod.
So silly.
You ever use a fishing rod and, like, you catch it on a rock and then it breaks? Like,
But this works.
Con, his half of the cork, like, base that you hold onto when you use the actual rod fell off with Goofy. But now all of a sudden it's still there and you can still use it to cast properly and...
Perfect cast.
Pro, you bastards.
Not over yet.
Con, I guess it's not circled anymore. Pretty sure we spent an entire scene looking at him circle Los Angeles.
It's also frustrating that he threw it away just so we could look at it. They need it. Like, I don't... It meant a lot to them, even if they don't practically need it.
Yeah, that was his father's... That was the map.
That you can't, like, what was it?
Don't
you can't
wrinkle it.
crease
You'll
the...
wrinkle my pace.
Yeah, throws past down.
Yeah, just throws it away, whatever.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Then again.
Con. It's a kid's movie.
I know, he's such a perv.
Pro for that face.
Con. Unrealistic bodies. It's such a common thing, the whole, like, exaggerated slim, thick thing in cartoons.
To be fair, I mean, look at the guy. That's not...
That's true, that's true.
We're gonna take that back, just on the grounds of...
Everyone's a little out of proportion, that's true.
Do you know what I love? And I'm gonna give it a pro, even though I should give it a con, is there are 3 dancers here who are identical, but the one on the far left is slightly different.
Just slightly.
It's slightly thicker, and then just animated slightly different, but it's like they were like, okay, left, right, let's just do the copy paste. It's fine, no one will notice. In fact, make the back one like 5% smaller.
Con. So when he smashed into the TV screen, was there just glass falling
yeah.
on everyone and they reacted like
They
it
got
was
sued.
confetti?
They got really, really sued.
They looked really happy.
Con. So that chick who Goofy walked in on was getting ready for her show performance, which was in about a minute.
Yeah.
I think you'd be ready by then.
Pro. Unexpected romance.
Pro. Just for that whole song and dance. It was a good one. Alright, we're just gonna give that a con, because the car still works.
It didn't even look destroyed up until now, really.
It went down a waterfall.
Oh,
They must have gotten it from the bottom of a waterfall and it still runs. It would run somehow worse than the car that Aunt Spider and What's-Her-Face drive in James and the Giant Peach at the end.
But you'll probably never talk to me again.
Well, if she doesn't, maybe she's just not the one for you.
Pro, legitimately positive advice about relationships.
Totally.
Why would you make up something like that?
I don't know. I guess I just wanted you to like me.
Con, can you not just pick our flowers and just throw them into the garden like a douche?
I was thinking it was bad enough he was picking it, but at least he was going to give it to her. Like, I was really surprised when he just dropped it.
Pick, Chuck.
So, you want to do something tonight?
Definitely. Oh no, I can't.
What?
Well, I'm kind of doing some with my dad.
Con. Well, I guess I'll just have to do something with someone else then.
Tomorrow.
Deal.
Ooh, Con.
Yeah, the way he just forced a kiss on it and like,
she
what?
wasn't ready.
She...
That was potentially her first kiss. Con. One. They are so lucky they didn't die on the way back home.
Constant near-death
Across the
experiences.
country. On the highway. They drove that car that just blew up into nothing along the highway.
It's so true.
And two, he's still alive. It's not even injured after, like, no. If Roxanne's dad hated this boy before,
Oh my god.
she's gonna absolutely hate him now.
San, I'd like you to meet my dad.
Enchanté, mademoiselle.
Pro for a cute ending.
Very cute.
Right, well, that was a Goofy movie, a 1995 classic that has now become slightly more than a bit of a cult hit and become a bit of a Disney staple now. And it was only fitting to do a Goofy movie because it's their 25th anniversary this year,
Wow.
which, you know, it's as old as me.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wow.
So yeah, good on them all, good on the whole team.
Yeah, it turned out quite incredible.
For a low budget looking
I know,
thing
right?
from the 90s that had to be switched from physical to digital editing. Personally, after the music and the storyline and character developments, you know, because there were so few characters,
It's true.
and the colours, the songs, overall I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because frankly it's probably, I want to say one of my favourite childhood movies,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably one of my favourite movies.
Big claim, big claim. That's
It's so
interesting.
stupid and wholehearted. I love it. I know I tore the crap out of it just then, but no, it's a lot of fun. So honestly, 5 out of 5 from me.
That's a pretty high one. For me, I would say 4 out of 5. I don't have nostalgia attached to it because I only saw it for the first time last year. So I think that's part of the reason. But I can't really find any flaws in it. So other than, okay, we just literally just said all the flaws.
Can't find a single
There's nothing wrong with
more
it.
than like 50 flaws.
It's more that like overall I enjoyed it. It's engaging, but there's always, it takes a lot for me to reach a 5. I'm very, very picky. There's not many movies that get me to that point. And I don't really have any attachment to Disney either and the Goofy world. Did you watch anything to do with Goofy when you were growing up outside of this movie? Like shows or?
Not really, no.
Are there
Honestly,
even shows? I don't.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're from the 90s.
Yeah,
It's like a
that's so interesting.
goof troop. But honestly, no, I've never watched any part of Goofy other than
Yeah.
this movie. And even an extremely goofy movie, I don't rate all that highly.
Is that after this one?
It's the sequel to this movie.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think.
Interesting. To
Either
watch
way,
that sometime.
Don't have to. It's not something you'd have to watch to enjoy this movie or...
I do really like it though. I think it's really realistic in terms of the relationship of a father and a son. I know I'm in neither of those positions, but from my perspective it seems that way. The good and the bad and showing the other dad and his son as well. Like it just makes a lot of sense to show all of that. I feel like it would be really, really good for father and son to watch together. Be a bit of a bonding experience.
And something we want to be doing for our videos in the future is having your own reviews being added to the overall score of the films that we'll be reviewing. So without further ado, here are the 2 reviews from complete strangers and or friends and or God knows who for a Goofy movie.
The year is 1995. The year of the dog. Eazy-E's just died of AIDS. Sheryl Crow's just won a Grammy for Best New Artist. And I'm still in darkness. Coincidence? Unlikely. You could say there were a lot of goofy things going on in 1995, but the goofiest thing of all was Disney finally giving Goofy his own feature-length animated movie. Now the thing about Goofy is, he's never got the respect he deserved. He's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's always been regular fries, not sweet potato fries. He's always been Luigi, never Mario. He's always been the cuck, never the stud. So Disney finally giving this Goofy his own movie was a big thing. But did this big gamble pay off? The Goofy movie, it was a triumph of animated cinema. And if it had not been for Forrest Gump also releasing in the same year, it would have featured the goofiest character ever caught on cinema and probably would have won a couple Oscars. But unfortunately, life's not fair, and you can't always get what you want. And when Goofy was released, it was released to mixed reviews. My favourite thing about the Goofy movie was when Goofy was dancing in the club. The Goof Man's got some moves. I would probably give the Goofy movie 8 goofs out of 10. I will goof again.
Hey guys, this is Gling here with a 60-second review of the 1995 Disney film, A Goofy Movie. This is a tale about a father and a son reconnecting. A father loosening his grip on his child, allowing him to branch out on his own. Also about the importance of honesty, family, and some bangin' good tunes. Maximilian, Goofy's son, is tired of playing the role of the devoted son to his father and wants to step out of his shadow and stop being recognised as a goof. Chuck in a chance encounter with a BG lovin' Saturday Night Fever groovin' Bigfoot, longtime Goofy favourites Pete and PJ, and introducing Roxanne, a sexy little minx with Ariel-esque hair and massive anime eyes. She's basically every preteen's fantasy girlfriend. Listen out for 90s R&B singer Tevin Campbell as the soundtrack, and also a cheeky little voice cameo by Pat Buttram as the excitable MC at Leicester's Possum Park. Mr. Haney, aka Pat Buttram, was a long-time character on comedy TV show Green Acres, which ran from 1965 to 71. I rate this film 4 out of 5 stars for 90s nostalgia. I'm Gling. Peace!
So with those final ratings in mind, we give you the A Goofy Movie Cynical Cinephiles first ever grading.